A campaign that Mirana has run from the very beginning. A day before the final court hearing in the Mahul rehabilitation case, the Maharashtra government in an affidavit has said that it cannot pay rent to the residents of Mahul.
Well, the state said that this would be a huge burden on the state revenue department. This after an IIT Bombay report deemed Mahul unfit for the 30,000 residents living there. The IIT Bombay submitted its report in the Bombay High Court. Last year, the court had appointed IIT Bombay to conduct this survey to measure the health problems faced by the residents in Mahul. All right, so today we are looking at a situation where the Maharashtra government is literally trying to shirk off its responsibility, saying that there cannot be rental accommodation provided to the affected residents of Mahul simply because the government cannot afford it. The government has cited the reason as causing burden to the state revenue department or to the state coffers, so to speak. They feel that this cannot, the cost of this relocation cannot be borne by the state government. Now, the question is that this entire area has been declared unfit for human habitation by the government itself, by the surveys conducted by the government itself.
Right. Remember, it was an IIT Bombay report that was submitted in the High Court, which spoke about the sort of pathetic living conditions, to say the least, that these people have had to, in fact, endure. Let's go across now to Bilal Khan, who's an activist who's been supporting the people of Mahul for quite some time. Bilal, thanks so much for speaking to us here on Mirror Now. What is your reaction when the state government, effectively the Chief Minister and his government, tells the High Court that, look, we can't give these people who clearly are living in a toxic hell, we can't give them any rent because it's going to burden the state exchequer?
It's really very shocking. I read the affidavit yesterday. It was very shocking that they have put so much effort in writing the justification why they cannot give it, and even the justification is not justified. They are saying that there will be a burden on the state exchequer, but they are so much worried about the state exchequer, but not of the 50,000 people whose lives are at stake. And This rent thing came only when the government refuses to allocate those empty lying houses which are available in abundance. So it appears that the state is not at all worried about the lives of the people who are really poor.
Yes, Bilal Khan, also, if we look at the sequence of events, let's remind our viewers here, and probably you'll be the best person to do this, that these are project-affected people. They were relocated from their original place in order to, in order to enable developmental work. It is definitely the state's responsibility to make sure that they are simply not abandoned in an area which has been declared unfit for human habitation.
Yes, that's what happening. And this is what happened everywhere in the country. Wherever there is a development project, the project people have to pay the cost of those developmental projects, and then they are dumped, and nobody looks at their misery that they suffer after facing these faulty rehabilitation. Like I have tales of from different parts of the country where people are dumped in a tin shed in the name of rehabilitation. So it's done in Mahul, where people are, at the verge of dying.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's exactly the point, isn't it? Because, Bilal, the issue, of course, here is the fact that, again, as Afrida said, that they've been put here. It's not as if they've gone there by choice, and they've been talking about moving out of this place for the last few months, if not more than a year. And their pleas have so far fallen deaf ears, and despite the fact that they've been sitting on the streets on a protest, appealing to the government, trying to send a representation to the government as well, to try and explain to them their plight.
Exactly. I mean, you see, they have paid the cost of development. They are the one who should be treated with utmost dignity. Yes. And instead, the opposite is happening. They are treated like the secondary citizen. No amenities are there. It has been very well proved by the reputed institution like IIT, NGT, that this place is not livable, and still the government is adamant to not making these people out of Mahul.
Right, and other startling fact here, in fact, is that, these surveys that were done, wherein both by the IIT Bombay, and even NGT, Bilal, if you can tell us, had given a report saying that this is a highly polluted area, it is non-livable, and we discussed that report many times on this channel. Can you tell us that, despite these surveys, how can the Maharashtra government simply shirk off its responsibility like this? What are the facts that you put out in your petitions, Bilal?
So we take this the order of the NGT, which had in 2015 had said that this place is not livable. There is a threat to the lives of the people who are living there. So this is the ground that we took in the High Court, and hopefully we are going to get some positive outcome today with the court if the government is adamant. And one more thing I want to highlight through your channel is that the very existence of Mahul rehabilitation site and the industry is an illegal act, because in 2005 the NGT also said that there has to be a safety distance between an industrial area and residential area, and
Yes.
safety distance is a few kilometers. And currently the resettlement site and the industries are just separated by a 15-meter wide road. There is not even if there's some blast happens, people don't even have an escape route to save their lives. That's what has been pointed out in IIT report as well.
Right, Bilal, please stay with us because we've got one of the residents now of Mahul, Anita Dhole, who joins us on the phone line. Anita जी, हमसे बात करने के लिए बहुत शुक्रिया। जो सरकार है, महाराष्ट्र की सरकार, उन्होंने कल हाई कोर्ट में ये कहा है कि आप लोगों को रेंट देने के लिए, यहाँ से शिफ्ट होने के लिए माहौल से, उनके पास पैसे नहीं है, क्योंकि इससे जो है स्टेट गवर्नमेंट पर बहुत ही ज्यादा असर होगा स्टेट एक्सचेकर पे। आपका इस पे क्या कहना है?
सर, सरकार के पास बहुत कुछ है, लेकिन उनकी देने की मंशा नहीं है। मंशा होनी चाहिए, गरीबों के बारे में उनका दिल बड़ा होना चाहिए, क्योंकि इतना कल भी 2 हॉस्पिटल में हमने पेशेंट को एडमिट किया। सांस लेने में इतनी तकलीफ हो रही है। राजौड़ी हॉस्पिटल में तकलीफ में इतने लोग हैं, स्किन इतने, रोज एक मर रहे। पहले तो हफ्ते में 2 मौत हो रही थी सर, अभी हफ्ते में 7 मौत होती है। 7 के 8 आंकड़ा बढ़ते जा रहा है, दिन ब दिन मौत का आंकड़ा बढ़ते जा रहा है। सरकार को गरीब लोगों की फिक्र नहीं है। अभी इलेक्शन चल रहे, खुद मुख्यमंत्री साहब ने इन पे ध्यान देना चाहिए। एनजीटी कह रहे लोगों को बाहर निकालो, आईआईटी का फाइनल रिपोर्ट आया, आईआईटी ने कहा है तो इनको जल्दी से जल्दी तुरंत निकाले, वहां से शिफ्ट करो। तो ये कितनी देर करते हैं? ये मंशा अपनी खुद की सरकार चलाते हैं, गरीबों के बारे में उनको बिल्कुल दिल बड़ा नहीं है। लोगों के सरकार ने सोचना चाहिए, खुद सीएम साहब ने सोचना चाहिए, लोगों को वहां से जल्दी निकलना बहुत जरूरी है, क्योंकि हफ्ते में अभी 7 मौत हो रही है वहाँ पे। ये मौत के जिम्मेदार कौन है? ये मौत नहीं, ये हत्या है, और खुद ये मुख्यमंत्री इसके जवाबदार है।
जी, 88 people dead in the last 2 years. अनीता जी, आप बता रहे थे कि कितने लोगों की मौत हुई, आपके सामने आपने देखा होगा, लेकिन बीच में सरकार ने कई सारे आश्वासन भी दिए। ये भी कहा कि कुछ मादा के फ्लैट्स अलॉट किए जाएंगे। उन अलॉटमेंट्स का क्या हुआ?
वो 300 घरों तो अलॉट हो गए, लेकिन अभी दो जो ऑथोराइज है, जो अपने हाउसिंग के चीफ सेक्रेटरी है संजय कुमार, उनका सिग्नेचर बाकी है। कल हम माड़ा के जो अध्यक्ष है उदय सामंत जी के ऑफिस में जाके आए, तो 2-4 दिन में वो 300 घर तो मिल जाएंगे मैडम, लेकिन हमारी मांग 5,500 घरों की है। तो लोगों को बचाना बहुत जरूरी है। ये पॉलिसी छोड़ दो। मुंबई शहर में, उपनगर में बहुत सारे घर खाली है। कुर्ला एसजेएल में 5,488 घर खाली है। सीटीसी जो बिल्डिंग है कांदिवली वेस्ट में, वहाँ पे 510 घर खाली है। बहुत सारी घर खाली है। हमारे तो ज्यादा मांग नहीं है, तो जब जो रह रहा है उनको जल्दी से जल्दी निकालना बहुत जरूरी है। जो बचे हुए देखा जाएगा, जिनके घर टूटे नहीं है, लेकिन रोज वो आप स्लो पॉइजन से रोज मौत हो रही है। कल एक मौत हो गई मैम, राजौड़ी हॉस्पिटल में क्रिटिकल पेशेंट 2 है। कल मैं उनको देख के आई हूँ, वो भी अंतिम सांस ले रहे हैं। कितने अभी पहले तो हफ्ते में 2 मौत होती थी, हफ्ते में अभी 7 मौत हो रही है। 15 दिन में कम से कम 10 से 12 मौत हो गई। अभी मार्च महीने में 15 मौत हो गई। इसकी जवाबदार कौन है और जिम्मेदार कौन है? ये सरकार तो जिम्मेदार है। समिति गठित की सीएम साहब ने 21 दिसंबर को, 3-4 महीने से वो अजय मेहता जी उसके चेयरमैन है, वो कुछ काम ही नहीं कर रहे हैं। घर खाली होके भी देने की मंशा नहीं। एमसीजीएम के हाथ में भी बहुत सारे घर खाली है, बहुत मतलब 10-15 से अधिक घर खाली है, लेकिन देने की मंशा होनी चाहिए। गरीबों को बाहर से निकालना बहुत जरूरी है। राजनीति न करते हुए गरीबों को जल्दी से जल्दी वहां से हटाना बहुत जरूरी है। आईआईटी का रिपोर्ट बोल रहा है, एनजीटी बोल रही है, हाईकोर्ट बोल रहे हैं, पर किसके और इनको कितने पेपर चाहिए, कितना फॉलोअप रखेंगे? मैडम, हम 2 साल से संघर्ष कर रहे हैं। आज 144 डेज हो गए हमारा फुटपाथ पे आंदोलन चल रहा है, मैदान भी चल रहा है और कोर्ट प्रक्रिया भी चल रही है।
जी, आपने बहुत सही
सरकार है।
जी,
It's very heartbreaking.
बहुत ही ज़रूरी चीज़ें आपने आज हमारे सामने कही और ये सारी चीज़ों का सवाल हम ज़रूर करेंगे सरकार से.
Absolutely, yeah. It's really heartbreaking to listen to the stories of the people of Mahul. The number of people who have lost their lives because of these sorts of health-related problems is just going up, as Anita has been pointing out. Let's go to Disha now. Disha Shah joins us with details of what the Maharashtra government said in the High Court yesterday. Disha, for those who've been campaigning for Mahul, for the residents who've been watching their neighbors, friends, family members die slowly because of the absolutely pathetic conditions they live in, tell us what the government had to say in the court yesterday.
Well, that's right, Viren. Today is a very important day of the hearing, especially for 30,000 Mahul residents who have been waiting for a very long time to move to a safe place. So that can either happen if the state government goes ahead and pay either rent or gives them alternate accommodation. But at this point in time, what we know, a day before the hearing, the state government was supposed to submit an affidavit to the Bombay High Court citing their reasons and decision as to whether they can pay rent to 30,000 residents or whether they will be given alternate accommodation to stay. But to our surprise, once again the state government has written in the affidavit that they cannot pay rent to the residents of Mahul because this will burden the state revenue department, and that is really not good for the government at this point in time. I'm reading few pointers from the affidavit, Viren, which says that state government is not ready to pay rent to Mahul residents, and the court it also requests the court not to pass any such order regarding the same. In fact, the government says that at this point in time, all of these were the unauthorized structures, were illegal structures, and that is the reason they are not permanent structures. And the residents who are staying in Mahul currently, they do not have valid registered documents, and that is the reason they are not even entitled to the house that they are staying in right now.
So basically,
so while
Disha,
there is a need of paying rent to almost 30,000 residents who was...
Yeah, so in the name of a development project, this entire lot of people have been simply abandoned. They're poor, they're helpless, they cannot afford to fight long legal battles. Now, that's the reason why, Disha, we've been taking up this cause and you've been in the forefront of the coverage. But at this point in time, this is a huge embarrassment as well for the government to say that we do not have the funds. We are running that question on our screens, that there are funds for statues and elaborate structures that the government indulges in. How can one get away saying that we cannot rehabilitate project-affected people? We do not have funds for that.
Well, that's right, Afrida. Time and again, we have been questioning the government, be it the Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Devendra Fadnavis, be it the Housing Minister, Prakash Mehta, and even the respective department like Mahada and BMC representatives for that matter. But we have been just getting same answers every now and then, that they are working towards the betterment of 30,000 residents. They are ensuring that they at least alternate accommodation will be provided. So all of these are only promises which is verbally given to the residents, but when it comes on paper, Afrida, the entire line of sentences, the entire line of tone in the manner of which they really communicate with the residents, that changes. So it was just yesterday when the government went on to say that these 30,000 residents, they do not deserve to be paid rent also because they were staying in illegal structures, and because we had to demolish structures in and around Tansa pipeline, we had no other option but to shift them to Mahul. And after coming to Mahul, they have started complaining about restlessness and even pollution, air and water pollution. But what is important and what can be expected today, Afrida, from the Bombay High Court is the fact that an order might be expected from the Bombay High Court against the state government, either to pay rent to these residents or to move them to an alternate location, move them to a safe place. Because as far as Bombay High Court is concerned, they were only dependent on the IIT Bombay report. And now, considering that report has been submitted, which establishes that there is air and water pollution in the area and no amount of amenities can solve the pollution problem, the court will be the court might give an order today against the state government. That is what we are hoping for.
Right. Thanks, Disha, for joining us. It's really heartbreaking that these people have had to beg and plead of the government to move them out of this place when it's clearly established time and again that this is not fit for human habitation.
Absolutely. Basic fundamental right to live has been violated. We continue our focus on this story. Thanks very much, Disha, for joining us.